Garden's still very pretty at night.
Yep. There's a bit of a like the waterfall. Doesn't look great at night. The way that it's like it's not lit properly, so it's just kind of like a big white volume, unfortunately. But whatever. Anyway, back at it again in Sector 5, though soon to be Sector 6 on the way to Sector 7. It is nighttime, so there are a lot fewer NPCs out around now, but I did stop off and listen in on most of them because, unsurprisingly at this point, there is new NPC dialogue for just right now while you're walking back through here that, you know, you won't be, you know, it's just for tonight, just for right now.
If it isn't the new florist. I appreciate you helping the kids out today. Thank you. They won't stop talking about the soldier who saved the day. Oh, and make sure to give my thanks to Aerith, too.
Sure.
We've had a lot of talk about stamps so far in this. I think one thing we haven't said is how good of a design that is.
The kids are talking about you.
Just a really good little design for a cartoon character.
Thank you for being there for the children. I really appreciate it.
It is a really good design.
Are you working at this hour?
No, I'm running away.
I'm going back toward my employers, so one could say I'm working. Anyway, this is the first recording session we've done since the release of Rebirth, the second part of the Remake trilogy, which I've been playing. And it was a little funny because we had a whole thing in the last couple episodes where I was talking about the skybox here being misaligned. And there are a couple of, while Final Fantasy VII Rebirth mostly takes place outside of Midgar, there are a couple of scenes where we cut back here, and the skybox is not changed at all. So either I'm wrong and just thinking too much about it, or they screwed up. I don't know.
They're sticking to their guns.
Anyway, here's the floating light that I was talking about. That's like one part of my theory that the skybox is incorrectly rendered, because there's the 3D asset of one of the lights is at a spot where there is no plate. It's also possible they just did not bother to redo any of the details, because like, so for example, we've talked about how like the skybox here is like it's just a skybox. It's a you know 2D texture. There are a couple of like similar locations in Rebirth where there are big structures overhead or whatever, and they are presented in 3D, not with the texture. And obviously for the couple of brief cuts back here that exist in Rebirth, they did not bother to completely redo the skybox with 3D assets. So, you know, so even if it is a mistake, I really wouldn't expect them to change it.
This joint in Sector 7, the one with the hot bartender. What was it called again? 7 something.
None of your business. You leave that nice girl alone.
Chocobo fabric softener you mentioned.
Doesn't it smell heavenly?
Yeah, I suppose, but it's not strong enough to mask the smell of the water.
Did you end up talking to the scrap dealer about that problem with your lights?
He said it would be an issue until the reactor was stable again.
I don't know. I think that you have, you know, in old RPGs, you have you know, a smattering of NPCs sitting around in a town or whatever who all have, you know, their one thing that they say.
I can't believe it. He waited till now to tell me he had laundry.
A little late.
They always do that, man.
He said he needs to wear it tomorrow, but that's not my problem.
Nope. He's showing.
Doubt it'll even be dry by then.
Just like that's the sort of thing that, you know, you would find in an old RPG. It's just some NPC complaining about doing laundry in a corner somewhere. Not necessarily that specifically, but you know, that sort of thing. And populating these settings with those types of interactions and characters while also trying to give it like trying to give it a more realistic crowd density while also having like that sheer amount of dialogue is, I don't know, it stands out to me about this game, which is why I've highlighted so much of it. So you can't leave, but there's a guy standing here who has like multiple barks when you try to leave. That guy saying, "Body, yeah." Yeah, this dude is jealous that we're spending so much time with Aerith.
Sector 7? And you're going the wrong way. Folks got nothing but good things to say about you, my man. That Aerith's got a good eye when it comes to people.
When it comes to people.
Well, it's too bad. We'll never see her again, since we promised to never talk to her. Her part in the story is over, and never again shall our paths cross.
Gramps has been feeling a lot better ever since he heard about what happened.
So this part is there's an interesting effect here where unfortunately you can see the physical lighting volume, you know, just sitting on top of the TV if you look at it from the side, which is a little unfortunate. But if you actually look at it, it's got a CRT strobe effect to it. I don't know how well that's gonna come through in the YouTube upload, but you can see it on the TV right now.
Yeah.
Which I think is neat.
Icky.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a really nice detail. I hopefully that's visible on the YouTube upload.
Well, hey there.
The idea of living around that makes my
all the time.
I cringe.
Well, just don't watch. Just don't go out at night. Don't watch it at nighttime.
Oh. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be as bad.
When everything's, you know, we've talked about the whole aesthetic of this city is massive tubes and pipes.
Yeah.
And that means cathode ray tubes as well. Every type of tube. They got them all, sister.
Oh.
Anyway, we can finally head out this way now.
One of the bands last night, and it happens, they had I guess an echo that gets reverberated and picked up by the other mics, and it makes that awful screech.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And the crowd all just,
well, who is? Talk about a coincidence.
Ruh-roh.
How'd you pull that off?
What are you doing here?
Waiting.
What?
Why?
Because I'm not sick of you yet.
Lead on, then.
What?
With pleasure.
Wait, okay.
She's real sneaky. How'd she pull that off?
Oh. Yeah? What? That was the fastest tear drying.
Yeah, that tear.
Cloud?
Well, I don't think it even dried. It just choom, it shot down his cheek like a bullet.
Is something wrong?
It's nothing.
That's what Mako eyes do to you. You know, you're so strong that even your tears are fast. Anyway, folks, clock this as the beginning of Cloud's night, because this is about to be the craziest night that anyone has ever had in the history of history.
Perfect.
You can see the sky.
They're still working on the new plate. I don't like this part of Midgar. Back when they were still building Midgar, there was an accident, and the plate fell. People had only just started moving in, so there weren't a lot living there at the time, but...
This is also one of my favorite tracks in this entire game. This is called Midnight Rendezvous.
Perfect.
And that's?
The underside of Sector 6, Wall Market. A real special place. But I'm sure you already knew that, right?
I didn't tell you? I enlisted pretty much right after I left home. Don't know much about this place, or any of the slums.
Well, it took a lot of people to build Midgar, and they all needed to blow off steam. So some traders built an entertainment district. Inns, shops, bars, the works. Folks started pouring in from all over. Business was booming, money was flowing, which attracted the attention of some guys who didn't much care for the law.
And now there isn't any.
Right. But instead of trying to solve the problem, the government decided to just wall it in. And that's how Wall Market began. Out of sight, out of mind, as the old saying goes. For the folks in charge, there's no better way to deal with it.
So it's like a giant veil.
Yeah. Want to see what's behind it?
Not really.
That's good. 'Cause I know a better way to get to Sector 7. One that, tragically, doesn't go through Wall Market. And it's just through this tunnel here. At least it was, back when I was a kid.
But no, like I said a second ago, mark this as the beginning of the night, as Cloud and Aerith are about to go on the craziest date in the history of fiction, I think.
Ooh.
I'm sure you've been on a few crazy dates in your day, Aiden. This is you're gonna feel like, okay, maybe my life, maybe I haven't been adventurous enough in my time.
I seriously doubt that. But I am excited to see what their night looks like. I actually was telling a story of like a bad date at work the other day. Both of my coworkers just looked at me like, "Girl, are you okay?"
How do you manage to get yourself in these situations?
Yes,
they were saying.
Like pretty much.
It's been like this, you know, ever since the plate fell.
And there's no other way?
It'll be an adventure.
I like the track change.
Yeah, this is another new track for this game. That's also a pretty good one. This track shows up again, actually, in Rebirth at kind of a, if you just stumble upon it, like, in the world, you might go, why did it switch like this here? But it's specifically at a zone that a side quest that is a Cloud and Aerith hanging out specifically side quest leads you to.
Okay.
And I think it's deliberately meant as like an emotional callback to the two of them here.
Yes, I got you.
But anyway, do you want to talk about the crazy bad date or not?
Yeah, we can.
Why not? I mean, I'm not to put you on the spot or anything.
No, it's more of just like you may need to bleep some stuff later.
Okay. It's up to you. I mean, it's really up to you.
So basically, the date in and of itself was not like a huge deal. It was very short. I immediately was like, vibes are incorrect. I'm going home, and I don't really care if that hurts your feelings, because I feel like you will do more than hurt my feelings if I do not remove myself from this situation.
Sure.
So I left kind of abruptly, and it was what it was. Like, I was not planning on seeing this person ever again. I really did not care. I was there for a total of maybe 10 minutes. Immediately was like, I'm not hanging out, dude. I'm not into it. And I went home. And at the time, home was like an hour away just because of living conditions and where I was working and all of the above. So I didn't really look at my phone for the next hour. And when I got home, I realized that he had been texting me the entire time I was driving home.
Oh, jeez.
And then continued to text me for another hour after I got home. And I'm not responding. Like, I'm not egging the guy on.
Yeah, of course not.
He's just going. I'm gonna have to do the same thing I did then, which is like search for one of the contents of the messages that I remember, because it was so funny. Okay.
Well, at least it's funny and not scary, I guess.
A
little scary too.
So like, if he had been saying these words to me,
would have been scary.
I don't know that it would have been scary so much as like, I think I would have taken it harder. But just getting like 2 hours worth of text messages after I left because your vibes were super off, and you think that sending me 2 hours of berating text messages is going to change my mind about the fact that your vibes were super off.
What's that?
A big arm. Kind of cute, don't you
Yeah,
think?
so we're gonna... This is a screenshot from 2021. For the record. So now I gotta go find, because there's more messages than one screenshot could capture.
Sure, I would imagine across the course of 2 hours.
Alright, so we're gonna paraphrase some things.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I wonder if we can use this.
Oh, I also should be clear that I met this man on a dating app, and I had like a within 2 weeks ago picture of myself on there. I had an accurate representation of the fact that I am not a small girl. I'm not a huge girl, but I'm not a small girl. And I'm aware of the fact that that's not everybody's preference. I don't want to ever surprise somebody with that.
Here's an idea.
Because I am aware that it's not everybody's preference.
Sure.
But he opens the gate with, honestly got quite a bit fatter recently, but it still wasn't enough to click with you. You ungrateful narcissistic shit. You could probably tell that I wasn't one of your young 20-year-olds that would be impressed by your awkward fumbling oral, which didn't happen, by the way. Nothing
Jesus
happened.
Christ. Hold on, does he mean oral in terms of like just your oration?
No.
He wasn't impressed with your your speaking.
Yeah.
You thought your vocabulary was weak.
I told myself to never meet any flaky under 25, but you literally pledged to keep your word. I, to this day, don't know what he was talking about. I'm so I would have the potato that you are just to.
Yeah, we're definitely giving it all that. Holy shit.
Yeah! Going up.
You did it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
All right, good enough. Let's keep on trucking.
I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
Cloud does. They didn't teach him how to high five in Soldier.
If she'd done the one high five, it might would have been okay. But she wanted a double high five.
You're right. She overwhelmed him.
Yeah.
It was too much, too fast.
It's too much. Yeah, and it just continues until he switches gears and goes, "Where do you live, by the way? We can have an Oktoberfest. I speak German." And then he goes right back to literally so bitchy. So it was great. I think a coworker called somebody a potato, and I giggled to myself because of that. And she was like,
I'll show you what I
yeah.
I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm crazy, right? So obviously, I'd like to, Aiden. I obviously can't say this about myself. Would you say I'm like a fairly nice, even-keeled guy?
Yeah, I would say so.
Cool. Because it sounds a little conceited to say that about yourself. So
Right.
perhaps I just don't understand the mind of an asshole. But I'm like, what good does it do you to text the person? Couldn't he have texted one of his friends to be like, hung out with this awful, terrible woman tonight or whatever?
Yeah.
What good does it do to reach out to you with that shit?
Other than, like, give me a hee-hoo, wow, this man was pathetic. Apparently Taylor Swift has some song or a line in a song called, like, the smallest man in the world.
Did we talk about on the show the conversation we had several months ago that was like, I don't know if I can name a single Taylor Swift song? It was you and me were here, and Joshua was here.
too.
And
I think Joey was here too.
I don't think Joey was here for this one. I forget what it was exactly. That it was.
He was talking about like being near a friend who knew all of the words to I think "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift,
all right,
and so he consistently had to stand near her for like an event where that mattered. And yeah, I don't know who.
Raised in the slums,
I think maybe
remember?
it was you who said like I couldn't name.
Yeah, I think it was like the only name that I could pull out was Bad Blood. But then you like pointed out a couple that I did know, like some of her earlier country stuff, like I did know the names of, but it was just like that like I'm aware and I've heard her stuff around. I guess also is the name of that most recent song It's Me Hi I'm the Problem Is Me? Is it just called I'm the Problem?
No.
Is it called It's Me Hi?
It's called Anti-Hero.
Then I definitely don't know the name of it. After you said teardrops on my guitar, I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I know that, but like if someone had a gun to my head, I don't think I could have summoned that before you said it to me. Because I don't think I'd thought about that song in like 10 years.
Yeah, oh yeah. With me having two Swiftie coworkers working day and night to convert me. We can talk about that. That might be fun filler conversation. I made a devil's deal with my coworkers.
Oh yes, you did.
I sure did.
I'm in a rush, so...
I don't know that we've ever really talked about my music taste on the channel before, but it sure isn't Taylor Swift. and now that I've been exposed to some Taylor Swift, I don't think she's bad. I just think she's not like what I'm gonna be bumping on
listening
my
to in your free time.
Yeah,
sure.
like that's not what I'm pumping myself up to in the mornings.
You tell me if this is an inaccurate assessment, because we
Okay.
were literally talking about this a minute ago. I would
Yeah.
say that you're, like, you've got a broad, like, appreciation, and you can listen to and enjoy a lot of different stuff. You're just not necessarily, like, putting on, like, a huge variety of stuff in your free time, like, just to listen to casually.
Yeah, I think it really depends on, like, what I'm doing, what I'm looking for. But I think my most frequent, like, what I'm reaching for default is probably going to be metal or metal adjacent. But that's not to say, like, we were talking about city pop, and I have, like, when I'm cooking and I'm not really feeling like a metal vibe, like, we'll throw on some city pop and we'll vibe. I have a fully instrumental that's, like, I think the term is math rock. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Of just, like, really technical instrumental guitar.
Sure.
That is probably also metal adjacent, but then that playlist is also mixed with, like, some techno-y stuff and some funk, like the PHONK funk. And that's, like, my study playlist is just, like, it's all over, I think, 100 and... Oh, I'm dyslexic. It's either 45 or 54. One of those is the magic number for, like, do funny things to your ADHD brain or whatever.
Right.
And I have no idea how empirically proven that is, but it sure helps me tune everything else out while I'm trying to study, so that's great.
My tastes are pretty all over the place, but I also don't get to listen to music, like, casually in the background when I'm doing stuff a lot, because for my job, I'm often video editing, and for my hobby, I'm often video editing. And if I'm working with audio, I can't be playing music in the background.
Absolutely.
So I don't really get to just, like, I don't work a job where I can, like, turn on a podcast or turn on a playlist in the background and do stuff for fun.
I don't have the attention span
for podcasts.
Spencer listens to a lot of podcasts while he's working, and I can either do a task or listen to a podcast.
Yeah, I can't.
Which kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, I mainly listen to podcasts if I'm driving for a long time, and even then, I don't have a ton of podcasts that I listen to. I think I've probably mentioned before Resonant Arc, which is a YouTube channel that does, like, long form narrative analysis of video games. I'm a big fan of their stuff. I was actually on their show briefly last year.
I think I maybe remember you talking about this.
Yeah, that was neat. Like, I've listened to it before, but when I had a pretty long drive recently.
Hey, I bet you can grab that container with the arm.
And I was listening.
Oh, I definitely thought we were about to have to fight that arm.
I was listening to I was re-listening to their Final Fantasy Tactics, like, analysis podcast, which I've listened to before, but I don't care. I love Final Fantasy Tactics. I'll listen to people talk about it again all the time. But anyway, so we already did one of these earlier with Aerith. This is a fairly slow kind of puzzle sequence because it takes a long time to move this crane arm around.
Yeah?
Huh?
What does she want from me? 2 hands? Hand? My hand? In hers?
Oh, buddy.
I don't know what to do.
It's gotta be so tough. Lucky for me, you'll make this easier.
Oh?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is we had to do this a minute ago when we were talking about your bad at the aftermath of that date.
Yeah.
Instead of doing a typical Uncharted boost, we have to use this big robot hand to get Aerith up to lower that ladder. But as you'll notice here, there's a green orb. So you have the option here of instead of taking Aerith all the way to the ladder, we can take her over to where that orb is. She will
grab it for us.
She'll hop up and grab that for us, yeah. Cool. Mainly, this is just really slow because she's got to get on. It's got to lift back up. Only now do I have control again. I got to make it come back over here. I got to hit the drop-off button. And then once I hit the drop-off button, it's got to adjust a little bit to get in the exact right spot for the animation to play. I had it pretty close, so it didn't take too much time.
Hold on a second.
We have, I believe, one more of these after this, and it's very long.
Great.
I would probably have fast forwarded through it if I had
Edited
trimmed this episode.
Yeah.
But it would have been the only edit in this episode, so it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about before I got distracted by this hand? This big hand, we saw this construction equipment in the opening FMV.
Okay.
Originally, this was just like talking about little design elements from the original game that were like emphasized in this one or whatever. In the original game, you just as you were running through this collapsed highway, you ran past a bunch of scrap metal and wrecked cars and twisted concrete, and there was just this big hand was a piece of construction equipment that was down there. You couldn't interact with it; it was just sitting there.
Cool.
And so because it was just a memorable element from that, one screen you passed through previously.
Yeah.
They made it into a bigger puzzle element here. Maybe puzzle element is a stretch.
Yeah, I started to say minigame, and that also didn't sound correct, so I stopped.
Well, jumping's not an option, that's for sure.
For you, maybe. I think Cloud can handle it.
Yeah.
Look.
In fact, I'm going to say with some confidence, in the next game where you can do contextual jumps, you could make that jump and be fine.
They found a way down. So can we.
Are we not worried about the fact that that fire looks recent?
Yeah.
Great.
We haven't met anything yet that can kill us.
So my devil's deal.
Okay. Oh, yes. That's what we were talking about. Go ahead.
So because my music taste is a bit on the heavier side, usually, I've been somewhat resistant to being further converted into a Swiftie. I've listened to a couple albums. They're fine. But again, they're not like getting added to, regular playlists of mine. But they started sending me like other country things other than Taylor Swift that I did not love. And I think the final straw for me wasn't even that they weren't like good. It was that they said, "Oh, you'll love this one. It's jazzy." And I listened to it and I was like, the message I sent back was like, "It's fine, but do you guys actually know what jazz is?" Have you guys heard jazz before?
I'll protect you.
I'm pretty good at protecting
because
myself.
that's not what I would call this. The term I would have allowed would have been bluesy. But I still don't really think
This wasn't very bluesy either.
Like one bass riff does not make a song bluesy. You know what I mean? So anyway, I said, look, I will continue listening to things that you send on the agreement that you listen to things that I send. And one person didn't really respond, and the other one was like, only if I can make commentary about it. And I was like, this wouldn't be fun if you didn't make commentary about it. Like, I'm not just trying to subject you to the devil's music.
Has there been a round two since the initial? Okay, because
I'm now compiling a note, like a list, though, of like as I'm listening to my
your tick for tat reprisals.
Yeah, I'm like next
whatever
time
they give you.
Yep.
Because you sent them to me as well. The only one that I had heard was the corn song. It's called Y'all Want a Single, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Y'all Want a Single.
I was familiar with that. Then you sent me some metal thing by a band called what was it called? Which
the one with
the first
vocals
one with
or without?
the one with vocals.
That's Ginger.
Okay.
So Ginger is a Ukrainian metal band fronted by a woman named Tati, and I would die for her. And she just has the power and control to effortlessly switch between beautiful melodic vocals in which she showcases an amazing range, straight
to really like screamo,
full distortion,
throaty stuff. Yeah,
to the point that like I sent. We were hypothetically...
Make sure you watch the video so you understand this is not two different vocalists.
Yes.
Because, yeah, it's a
like
very
I hypothetically
harsh shift.
was going to go see this band at one point, and then the war happened, and that didn't happen. But when we were under the impression we were going to see them, I sent a couple of songs to my boyfriend, and his response was, I really like the female vocalist. She's really good. I could do without the male. And I was like...
You were like, you didn't...
Well, I didn't send the video.
Okay,
I just sent these are the songs you should listen to.
You would not, if you were listening to it without photo reference, think it was the same person.
No, you wouldn't, because and it's so good, and she's so good. So the song that like got the most viral attention from the band Ginger, and the one that has the nice video where you can see her making these switches, is called Pisces. If anyone would like to go listen to, and you should, because it's really good.
It's on. It was even. I'm gonna be real with you. Even the like. I mean, I respected it. Like, it was obviously extremely impressive.
Yeah.
The more melodic stuff was like, I don't know, it certainly wasn't bad, but it was not, there was something about it that just rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay.
Not that I hated it. It was
Right,
just, it was just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't hate Screamo, but it's definitely not something I listen to casually.
Right. Yes.
I liked it. It was fine. I didn't listen to it again, but it was like, I was impressed by it. And then the other one was the instrumental one you sent.
Yes.
What was the name of that band?
So I say it Polyphia. Some people say it Polyphia.
That was really impressive. I listened to some more of their stuff afterwards.
Yes.
I like them quite a bit.
Yeah, they're another example of that like math rock, very technically
I feel like I may have heard that before you sent that to me.
Potentially,
but yeah, no,
because it's good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And he also is decently popular as a musician. The frontman for that group.
It's still warm.
Yeah. Okay.
I can tell it's still warm from the way that it's still glowing.
I need to get back. Besides,
I'm not supposed to be talking to you.
Caught us some burglars! Coming into our homes and stealing our shit, doing crimes. I'd say we're owed compensatory damages. Composite. Get him! How stupid can you be? It's crazy simple.
These guys could have a good metal band.
It's like compensation for damages. Oh yeah. That's what you get when when somebody else.
we haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, we were just passing through.
Oh, a likely story.
Okay, what do you want?
Nothing but our due recompense, that's all. Due recompense. Due recompense? No, for brains, due recompense. It's like, compensatory damages. Of course, damages, recompense. Simple as that.
I think we've heard enough.
The gang visits Midgar. Anyway,
I like these guys.
Yeah, so these guys are
these
based.
guys a lot.
Their designs are based on thugs from the original game.
Okay.
Though, like them getting their own names is a new thing.
Okay.
Member of Beck's Badasses.
Beck's Badasses.
Endlessly inquisitive, he constantly peppers Beck with questions. His special ability is playing dead.
Perfect.
And Beck's special ability is feigning knowledge of things.
Perfect.
The other guy's special ability is also he's especially bad at sizing up the strength of his enemies. And the last guy is also his special ability is playing dead.
Perfect.
I threw on the like ATB boosted start a battle because when I was rehearsing this the first time I killed them too fast to get an assess off.
Gotcha.
They're not super tough.
But they're Beck's badass.
They are badass.
Of course, they're super tough.
I mean, I think that opening cutscene already demonstrated that they're badass.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, guys, whatever you do, don't move.
Don't look. Just don't look.
I'm dead. I'm super dead.
I think it's worth noting that if they're playing dead, then that means we didn't actually drain all of their health. So they probably are a lot more badass. We're not seeing them at their full power.
Yeah,
they aren't showing us
true.
everything they've got in the tank.
It's true.
Shit! Let's get the hell out of here!
Away, you guys! Don't leave me! I'm coming!
Did we just leave Aerith? Okay, there she
No,
is.
she's coming along. She stayed behind to heal them.
Random question, but why did you quit being a soldier?
Ooh.
It is random.
You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. Did you have any soldier friends? Any war buddies?
No. Not really.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
I just thought maybe the fight might have like given you some flashbacks, and you might want to talk about it. like just where is that coming from? Oh, more guys.
So I mentioned in the previous recording session that like there is like if Aerith seems a little manic pixie dream girl or whatever, which I think even with what we've seen so far, she isn't straying too much into that category.
Yeah, I think she's okay.
But like there is like a sense of like, wow, she has taken like a keen and instant interest in this guy.
Yeah.
She has an ulterior motive, and there we got to see the baseball bat knocking somebody else away, as we were talking about in the previous session. But no, so that right there was a line of inquiry that she has like been that was the beginning of a line of inquiry she's like been building up like her stomach toward for like the whole day so far, basically.
Okay.
Which will progress shortly.
Gotcha. Ooh. I don't know why I jumped at her getting hit there.
I mean, it looks scarier than it is.
Yep.
Hey, you asked for it.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That thing doesn't like getting hit.
This thing, Sweeper prototype, when we assessed it earlier, it said this is because we saw some of these in the the reactors earlier. This one has got like some yellow stripes on it, and I believe its description says that it's something about like it was being used for construction. I don't see what kind of construction with the big guns it still has strapped to the side. But anyway, it was just scrapped here along with all this other stuff that collapsed down here ages ago. And now it's malfunctioning.
It's constructing your demise.
Exactly. You know what a Nintendo's planning this year? Kudaragi's death.
That was a nice shot, exploding as he put the bat back on his back.
This game, it's really effortless to make it look cool. The fact that you spend half of combat in slow motion, and like I think it's important. Like it's hard to understate how good the animation work is in this game. To overstate, I should say.
Stupid ladders, always out of reach. Okay, Cloud, heading down. You're in charge of the arm. Got it?
It's hard to overstate how good a lot of the animation work is in this because you've got like a pretty long list of combat animations that all look good and have solid like posing work, regardless of like when you freeze frame it. You know, like you have really strong keyframes and really strong posing, like regardless of where in these attacks you have frozen them, which is just a great indication of like how like there were very good work going on in this game.
Yep.
But anyway, so this one takes a while, especially if you go for the for this optional blue materia here. But you should get this optional blue materia. This is the only one of its kind in this game, this particular kind, and you need it. You can't even get this, like, if once you pick this up once, like, there's a lot of materia that maybe is only available on the ground, but if you play through the game again on New Game Plus or on hard mode, like, it'll be there again. Like, I mentioned, when we were escaping the upper plate with Jesse, we walked past a revival materia, and I don't think you can buy them. I think that's the only one you can pick up, and in hard mode where you can't use items, like, that's the only way to revive people. So until you get back to the Jesse sequence, you can't get a second revival materia until you pick that one up on hard mode, but there is another one there. This is gone on your hard mode playthrough if you've already picked it up. You can only get it once. That's because it's magnify materia.
Okay.
Magnify materia allows you can bind that as you could with like the elemental materia or the other blue ones. You bind that to a spell, and it can now target everything. Well, specifically, I shouldn't say everything. It can target 3 targets, but in most fights, that's about everything. Yeah. You can put that on like a healing or buff magic, and you can heal everybody in your party or buff everybody in your party.
Yeah.
Or you can put it on your fire, ice, lightning, wind.
Okay.
And you can hit 3 targets in your immediate vicinity. And if you're casting spells with bigger hitboxes, or if people are all clumped up, you can hit everybody.
Very cool.
If you start a fight where your enemies are clumped up, even if there are more than 3, and you've got like the ATB boost at start of fight materia, you can shoot a spell that like hits the entire encounter right off the bat.
Wow.
Combine this with Aerith's ward that allows you to fire 2 spells for the cost of 1.
Yep.
You're now firing 6 spells for the cost of 1.
Wow.
And so if you kill people with the first cast, it will auto target different people.
Very good.
So it becomes very, very powerful. The main trade-off is that if you are splitting the spell 3 ways, it reduces the potency of each cast.
Okay.
You can, if you want, like there's a little button you'll see when you're like highlighted a spell that you can magnify, where you can toggle it to be single target or multi-target. So if you are trying to hit one guy and do a lot of damage, you can turn it off. But the cost is the same. It doesn't cost casting 3 spells.
Okay.
It costs the same amount to cast it on one target or multiple targets. It's just a bit weaker if you cast it on multiple targets. Anyway, part of the reason why this one takes so long is because you can't switch the arms while Aerith is riding on one, and you need to pick her up with. You need to stack those 2 up so that she can get onto the other arm. Because the other arm, you need to pick her up, put her on top of those crates, then have the other arm pick her up from on top of the crates and move her over. So it's just it's a somewhat laborious process, but it gives me plenty of time to explain how Magnify material works.
Yeah.
This is another, the track that's playing now, that started after we fought Beck's Badasses, is another track from the original game that here has been given, like almost like a bit of a dubstep. There's like bits of it that feel a little EDM.
She's really comfortable with how close that thing was.
She has a lot of. I was thinking the same thing, but it's just that she knows that Cloud wouldn't do anything to hurt her.
Yeah, maybe not intentionally, but like, I don't think I trust anyone to operate machinery that close to my head without even flinching.
It's you know how like you're not supposed to operate heavy machinery after you've done like certain things. Mako Infusion is like the reverse of that. You should always be operating heavy machinery with great confidence.
Oh man. I'm in a class on addictions currently, and we finally got to the topic of marijuana use and how if you go into substance use counseling, you're going to have a lot of people that come in and they're like, well, I only use it recreationally, like I don't have a problem. Does Cloud have a problem? Are we going to try to high five again?
That went pretty well.
Sure did.
Oh, God.
Wait a minute. Did you just...
No, he's too cool.
He was ready for it that time.
Was.
We'll be on the same page next time.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, okay?
We should mention, though it's been mentioned on the show before, just in case people don't remember that you are a psych major, which is why why you're doing a class on addiction at all. Just in case people are like, class on what?
Yeah. So if you go into like addictions counseling work, you're going to have clients that are like, I only use it for sleep. I don't have a problem.
And you got to be able to figure out.
It's just for fun.
You got to be able to identify if it is actually a problem or not.
Well, here's the thing. If you are like mandated to see an addictions counselor, then you got arrested.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Yes.
So obviously it's a problem if you can't quit. Otherwise, one of the comments that the professor made that has stuck with me and I thought was the funniest thing, because it was kind of out of left field, like none of us were really anticipating it.
Whoa, she's got the zoomies.
She does have the zoomies. She moving. She trucking. He says something along the lines of like, yeah, people do it like recreationally, and there are people that can do it and not have a problem with it. But there's nothing recreational about operating a crane while you're stoned.
Cloud, up top.
Okay, I think I got it this time.
Oh, don't leave me hanging.
Oh. Wow.
That is such a funny like use of the you gotta hold down triangle to interact with things. You gotta will him to get his hand up there.
But so I've never operated a crane. I can't imagine like not having my wits about me while trying to, like, I agree. I don't think there would be anything recreational.
All right, there it is.
And everyone was just like, yeah, that's a good point, man.
Looks shut.
That kind of ended the conversation. I'm like, but some people can use it and not have a problem.
How about we take a break?
Because some people can, yes, but...
No, I don't have time
Up there looks nice.
If they're coming to you, they're probably not in that category.
Yes.
Come on. You know, a long time ago, I used to sell flowers here.
Oh, yeah?
Wow. Oh!
So, Cloud, you were a soldier first class, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Weird.
Really? What's weird about it?
Nothing. Just that you were the same rank.
Huh? As who?
The first guy I ever loved.
What's his name? I probably know him.
Are you okay? Wow. Your eyes.
Oh. It's 'cause of the Mako. All soldiers have them.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm bumming you out. We should go.
Wow, we're so badass. We just jumped down.
Gotta look forward, not back.
So are we supposed to assume the name?
Not gonna answer that question.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, so Aerith had a ulterior motive for
asking like if you had any buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why she was trying to work up the nerve to ask him a question. Anyway,
oh my goodness.
You can do that if you want.
That's great.
But yeah, so you pointed out like in the opening FMV like some weird looking playground equipment.
Yeah.
And Joey was like, yeah, there it is, because that scene in the original game plays out with them climbing up on top of that weird looking animal slide with a tongue. And it's a fairly that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, is gonna be really important.
Great. Okay. I love this Garfield looking one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good stuff.
I've talked previously about a lot of this game being about like
Here.
identity and how people see themselves, how they project themselves.
This won't
That's
take long.
one of the first scenes where we see any amount of whatever percentage of facade Aerith has. Like I said before, I think she's one of the more direct people in the cast.
Yeah.
That's why it was like she's cooler than Cloud. But that's this is one of the first scenes where we see something underneath that she's maybe not sharing immediately.
So,
Go ahead.
you gonna be okay getting home?
And if I said I wasn't?
I'll go with you.
I thought you needed to get back. Don't worry. I have a backup route for emergencies, and it's safer too.
Then why didn't we go that way?
Yep, left the party.
Yeah.
We're done.
Okay, now
Didn't even get a kiss at
Ready?
the end of the date.
I'm gonna send Elmyra a text and say, okay, now I'm never gonna talk to your daughter
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Chocobo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah! Tifa?
Whoa.
Cloud, you're alive. I thought we'd lost you.
What's going on?
Shh.
I'll explain everything later. But now I'm on my way to see Don Corneo. You should head back to 7th Heaven, meet up with the gang.
But...
I'll be fine. You've seen how much ass I can kick?
I have.
Yeah? Yeah!
Well.
Oh, no you don't. You're going after her.
She's a big girl. She can handle the likes of him. And worse.
You don't know Corneo. It doesn't matter how strong or smart you think you are. He'll find a way to turn it against you. And where's she going to meet him? A mansion filled with his goons. Come on, aren't you worried what might happen in there? You have to help her. Come on!
Okay.
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 Oh my god.
Come on, Cloud.
Immediately joins the party again.
Oh, Aerith, I really missed you. No, I'll talk about it later.
Okay.
I was gonna talk about a little detail, but we'll loop back to it later.
Okay. Great.
But yeah, no, you said we didn't get a kiss at the end of the date. Well, I guess the date continues.
Yeah.
There's still a chance. Still a chance.
Is it still a date if we're going after the other girl that Cloud owes a date to? It's gotten a lot more complicated.
It's a double date in a new sense of the word.
I think they're calling those thruples now, not double dates.
Yeah, no, I know. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know what's going on here. But this is, like I said, this is the beginning of a wacky night.
Yeah.
Whoa, Aerith, I'm on the way too. Calm down. I'm getting there as well. You don't need to push.
Hey there. Where you headed?
You gave a ride to a girl earlier. Do you have any idea where she went?
No, and if you don't need a ride, then get the hell out of here. Can't you see I'm trying to work?
Can't say I can, no.
Oh!
What'd you say to me, you little...
What's all the ruckus out here? I don't know you. What's your story?
We're looking for a girl who took one of your carriages. Can you help us find her?
Depends. What do you want with this girl of yours?
Guess. We want to save...
Save her from a life without this handsome guy.
Huh?
So, that's how it is, huh? Well, I get a lot of customers. Hard to keep track of them all. This girl, what's she look like?
Well...
She's in great shape, she's a great fighter, or she's great at handling the books. Cloud's too much of a feminist. He can't say she's got the biggest boobies you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So this may seem insane, but this choice matters.
Oh.
And my choice may further seem insane, but I'm not gonna, even though you would think she's in great shape is the only answer here that's worth a damn that would maybe let us know, let him give us some information. I'm gonna pick she's great at handling the books.
She's great at handling the books.
Cloud, I really don't think that'll help.
I'm trying to be a good feminist, Aerith. I don't want to say anything about how she looks.
That's her.
I love that Sam knows.
Looks like someone's got a bit of a crush. Hate to break your heart, kid, but it's gonna be a long while before she sees the light of day again.
Jeez.
What do you mean?
What?
She's a real pretty girl. Corneo's hosting another audition, and Tifa was chosen as a candidate.
An audition for what?
For the title of the next Mrs. Corneo. She's what he likes all rolled into one sweet package. Having scouted girls for so long, I know his taste better than my own. And considering those tastes, I can guarantee you this. She won't be walking out of that mansion anytime soon. If at all.
Why would she go?
So where can we find this Don Corneo?
What are you asking for? Thinking of raising holy hell or something? Do what you gotta, but leave me out of it. I told you what you want to know. Now take a walk.
And there goes our best lead yet. Maybe we'll have better luck in town. Let's check it out.
Well, as Aerith suggests, we will in fact have better luck in town, but we're not going to head into town until the next episode. For now, though, look, we finally got a live chocobo.
A good look at a chocobo
in the flesh or the feathers. There's a lot of chocobo designs across the course of Final Fantasy. This one's real good.
I like it.
I like it a lot. It's a good middle ground between a cartoonier, sillier design and like a realistic, this could be an animal that exists design. It's skewing into cartoony, but it's not a full blown cartoon design. Anyway, but we will. Am I boring you, Aerith? I apologize. we will head into town, see if we can figure out what on earth Tifa is up to in the next episode.
Great.